Well, hey there. Welcome to day 1142 of What's You Up To Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, documenting my journey as I transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business. Spent, I'm going on 47 years in business this year. So long time, lots of decades, lots of experience, lots of real experience doing stuff that, ranges from absolute positive, getting started grunt work, starting from scratch, to working with $1 billion, some of the most popular, some of the biggest, most powerful and popular organizations in the world these days. I've worked for some of them. So, and with them, I like to document and share what I'm doing as I make that transition to the online world. I've always, ever since the internet became a thing, I was curious about it, and I would dilly-dally and dabble in different things and explore it when I had a chance, but I never made it something that I was really looking into or really a part of. When I was running my brick and mortar offline businesses. And as part of my divorce, I had the opportunity to say, okay, well, what do I want to do now? And probably for the first time in my life, I gave myself permission to say, what do I want to do? What do I want to look into? What have I been curious about? What am I curious about? What direction do I want my life to go? My kids were grown. Separated ourselves from all of our previously owned businesses together. And I got the opportunity to have kind of a fresh start and say, well, what's next? What's next for me? Now, I'm not going to say it was easy. It was pretty scary in the beginning, but I decided I was going to explore the online world. I've been telling people for years, hey, you need to add an online component to your business, something. You have to have an online presence. And 2020 absolutely positively was in the face of every business owner on the planet, showing them that if they didn't have an online presence, at least in social media, they were behind the eight ball and they really had to scramble to get moving during all of the changes and all the craziness that happened last year as part of the pandemic. And that's what we have to do as business owners, right? I speak a lot to business owners because I am one and have been one for decades. And we always have to be prepared or flexible enough when our plans fall through and we haven't been prepared enough to say, okay, that just happened. Now what? What next? What do I do now? Because obviously, originally, it'll be back in 2 weeks. Don't worry, we're only going to have a 2-week shutdown, which led to another additional month and then months. And now we're looking at, it's been a full year where the world has been absolutely positively obliterated and changed forever simultaneously by this COVID virus, by the pandemic. Now, we could get into all kinds of theories and thoughts and discussions about that, but what's the point? There is 0 point. Doesn't matter who started it, doesn't matter where it came from, doesn't matter what's going on. All that matters is how is it impacting you and your business and how you're going to go about moving forward in your life. We're a year into this now, right? It was almost exactly a year ago today that all hell broke loose and things started to shut down really, really rapidly. And everything kind of snowballed into, what we're doing today. Yep, there's a vaccine. Actually, there's several vaccines. People are still wearing masks, still social distancing. But some pockets of communities are starting to open up again and say, hey, wait a minute. Americans, and I'm just going to talk about America because that's where I live. Americans are smart people. They can figure out what they need to do. Now, forget about what the news has been sharing about the one person that got on the plane that had COVID and died. Forget about all of the misinformation and nonsense. Look at your personal situation. Look at your life and say, what is right and what is the thing that I need to do for myself and those I love and care about, for my family. And then do that. Be respectful of other people, but do what you know you need to do to continue living your life and moving your life forward. This too will pass, like every other thing that's ever happened in our lives. It comes in for a little bit, shows us some stuff that we need to know about ourselves. Hopefully we learn the lessons and we move forward. A lot of people aren't. They're just stuck. We're staying stuck in certain areas and aspects of our life, waiting for the world to go back to normal. Ain't gonna happen. And I don't even like the word ain't, but it's just not gonna happen. One thing that we can count on besides death, all of us are going to die someday. I know, newsflash, doom and gloom. We're all going to die someday. Besides that is that things are going to change. Stuff is going to happen. We're never going to set our life up and it's going to be perfect and nothing is ever going to happen. How boring would that be, number one? Number two, it's just impossible. Our world is ever expanding and growing and changing, as are we. And so we have to learn how to embrace that change and love that change and make it a part of our lives. So I do the Get Up and Go challenge, is because I want people to know that they can win every time they face a change or a challenge. They don't have to decide that it's a loss or a bad thing or a negative thing for them. For so many decades, we've been brainwashing people to think that change is bad and scary and frightening and they can't handle it. I can't handle the change. Well, yes, you can. You've literally handled millions of changes and challenges in your life so far. So stop telling yourself that you can't handle it and realize you absolutely positively have everything you need inside of you already to do whatever it is that you want. Can you tell I'm taking a new course this year? And the way we talk, the way we think about things, I think it's going to start to really show up in the way I communicate my life going forward. And I'm super excited about it. I haven't been this excited about a different coaching program for a long time, or a different coach. And I am excited about this one. So I'll share more and more with you about that as I unravel my journey in the online world. So what did I do today for content creation? Every day, if you haven't been following me or don't know who I am, I create several pieces of content. Why every day? Because every day is my way of holding myself accountable to be consistent, to show up every day, especially on those days I don't feel like it. Can you imagine? Some days I wake up and I don't feel like making live video. I don't feel like showing up for my people. I don't feel like making content. Anybody else ever feel that way? Ever feel like, oh my God, I've got a headache, it's gonna snow outside, my joints hurt, or whatever thing. I overslept, I stayed up too late, I shouldn't have watched that miniseries. Whatever it is for you, do you ever just not feel like doing what you've committed to do on some days? You know, has anybody ever not felt like going to work? All of us, right? We've all felt like not doing things that we know we're going to do because we've committed to doing them before. So how do we get around that? I get around that by doing the things that I say I'm going to do, holding myself accountable to my word. Now I'm thinking about that and I'm saying, okay, well, you said you're going to do a summit this year on challenges and you haven't done a summit yet. And I'm like, okie dokie, yeah. There's an example of I am, but the year's not over yet. I will do a challenge summit, I believe, this year, unless I change my mind based on my coaching. So there I've got my out, right? Unless I change my mind based on my coaching. Here's the deal. It's important that we learn to make decisions and that we make decisions quickly and move toward the thing that we've decided on and that we want. But it's also absolutely imperative that when we realize that the timing isn't right, the thing isn't right, or we need to go a different direction first, or we need to acquire a different skill first, it's absolutely positively essential that we say, all right, I'm changing my mind. That is not the thing I'm going to do right now. This is what I'm going to do now. And down the road, I'll be better prepared to do the thing that I originally wanted to do. Because if I get this information, this knowledge, this experience first, it'll make the thing I wanted to create so much better. I could do a challenge summit literally tomorrow. I could call up 20 people. I could interview 20 people in one day and knock out a challenge summit. But would that be the thing that I want to and the quality that I want to create when I do a challenge summit? I'm going to say absolutely positively not. Could I do it? How do I know? Because I did a women's summit, it's 2 years ago now, and I did it really, really quickly. I decided, and then I made myself do it. I decided, I committed, I said I was going to do it, and I did it. And it was awesome, actually. It actually turned out really well for such a short period of time doing it. But I learned a lot of lessons doing that, of how I want to do it differently and how I want to do it better, to make sure that the people that are participating and listening in get incredible value. Not just a little bit of value, not just a bunch of speakers like in the old teleseminar days where they'd put a speaker on, they'd talk about one thing, and then they'd hawk you their product at the end. I don't want a summit like that. Are there like hundreds of those summits going on nowadays all the time? Absolutely. Are they valuable? Can you get valuable information out of them? Yes. But the most valuable part of them is getting a little snippet of somebody that you might decide, oh, that's somebody I want to learn more from, which is the whole purpose of summits, right? It's to share information, but it's also to expose you to people and resources that you might not otherwise be exposed to. So I will do a summit, but it's not going to be the beginning of this year like I had originally thought last year, because it's not the next right step for me in my evolution of what I'm trying to create and how I want to show up in the world. All right, so I show up consistently doing content every day. And today I do that through a couple of things. The one thing I do for my Supersize Your Business folks is I share an idiom. We're doing 100 days of Proverbs at the beginning of this year every day in the morning. And I just say, okay, here's what it is. Here's where it came from, a little bit of the history, if there is some. Some of the expressions and the idioms and the proverbs and things, proverbs, of course, they have a good history, but some of the idioms that are commonly used or not so commonly used, there's no information as to where they came from, especially in this day and age of the internet, where knowledge is being pumped online from all different sources, most of them not ever researched or looked into to find out if they're valid or not. And today's idiom is kind of an example of that. Our proverb today was knowledge is power, and it's often attributed to Sir Francis Bacon. But turns out that's incorrect. There's no proof that he actually is the one that originated this. It came from a Latin aphorism of, let me see if I can remember it. Scientia est potentia, or something, which means knowledge is power in Latin. And that means it's a lot, came along long before Sir Francis Bacon and the other people that are attributed to having said it. So sometimes we don't have good information about where these things come from. Yet they catch on because there's a modicum of truth, or there was truth, or there's irony or something in them that causes them to be popular, and people continue to use them over and over again. But knowledge is power is a belief, a common belief that many, many people have. Hey, if I just went to college, I'd know more and I could get a better job because I'd know more and I'd be more powerful because I'd have a better job. Whoever said better jobs are powerful? Who defines what a better job is? You. Who defines what a better profession or a better anything is? You. Who defines what knowledge is? You do. Knowledge can come from anywhere. Knowledge and experience, and I think experience is even more powerful than knowledge because it means we've actually done the thing we've learned about. I went to college for engineering and marketing and management. Yet, until I got online, I virtually did zero marketing in my 40-year career, both in having my own businesses, which is it's really sad to admit, but it was an area that was not emphasized in what I was doing in my life. I was selling business to business in my main manufacturing business for 35 plus years. So did I need to go out and do a lot of marketing? Probably should have, but I didn't know it at the time, so I never did it. We were more focused on delivering the best quality services and products that we could to our customers. And so marketing, we were all word of mouth. We were absolutely positively 100% word of mouth company. Now with social media, you can probably still do that, but it was kind of a unique thing when we were doing it. So knowledge is power was our idiom today. We explore what does it mean, where does it come from, and how might you use it and apply it in your business, and maybe even in your life right now. And so I thought that was a good one. I also do this through, show up and do content consistently through challenges. I do a 365-day challenge, and I've done, this is my 4th year in a row doing it. I did do one thing every day that scares me because I wanted to stretch my comfort zone and get to the point where I wasn't actually afraid to hop on video and talk on video. Then I did do one thing every day that makes you happy because I want to be happier in 2018, 19, 20, 19, 2019. So 2019 was all about being happier. 2020 was all about doing one fun thing every day, which was perfect for 2020 and the pandemic. I didn't know it when I picked it, of course, but it turned out being perfect because I was hanging out with my 4-year-old granddaughter who turned 5 and then went to school. And now she's actually one of the lucky children. And isn't it interesting that we say it's the lucky children that are going to school? What does that tell us about our times? But she's one of the fortunate kids in kindergarten. She's actually going to class every day. Are they wearing little masks? Are they doing all kinds of protocols and things? Yes, but at least she's going and socializing and interacting with little kids. And it's amazing how much progress she's made in a year. I mean, we were doing little things to learn and grow and practicing counting, but she's doing so well. She's reading books. She's making math problems and math sentences, they call them in kindergarten. But it's really fun to watch how fast they learn and how fast they grow. Little sponges. I wish my brain was able, it probably is if I trained it, but wouldn't that be amazing if we could learn as quickly as little children do, because it's just fun to watch. So I do a 365-day challenge. This year's is to do one thing every day that centers you, which I think is what led me to the coaching program I finally decided to pick up and be a part of. This is when I'm getting coaching. In order to help other people, I think we need to always be continually learning and adding to our skills and becoming the best version of ourselves that we possibly can. And again, the best version of ourselves is ever changing and ever evolving, as is everything else around us. But I think that doing this is what's actually made it even possible that I saw the challenge. I was introduced to this coaching program through a challenge, and it's one of the only challenges that I've actually, usually I'll just kind of audit other people's challenges just because I'm curious what they're doing and how they're doing it. Because most of the people that are doing challenges are doing them 100% as a marketing tool, as a marketing and then leading into sales process. I'm in 2020 and right now doing the Get Up and Go challenge. It's a 30+ day challenge, 100% for helping other people so that they can embrace change and challenges using a SOAP framework, a framework I've used in my life for decades, not so much consciously until probably 2010 when I had my sudden cardiac arrest. But that's still, for a decade, I've been using this process for different areas and aspects of my life. And it's been so powerful. It's like, why would you not share that with other people? And so that's what I do in the Get Up and Go challenge. But I don't do it as a marketing tool. I do it as, I'm not going to say that isn't going to change down the road, but I do it as a way to give back to the world and the community and to make the world a better place in a time when so many people are struggling. I think what people don't realize is that knowledge is everywhere right now. Anybody that can get to a public library or absolutely has the gift and the benefit of having a device that can hook up to the internet has everything they need to know. Number one, you already have everything you need inside of you, but we have access as humans today to so much information. It's mind-boggling. And that's why there's so much emphasis put on pick something that you're going to focus on, because otherwise you'll go crazy. There's so much out there. You'll get schizophrenic trying to follow all the different rabbit holes and all the different things that we are inherently curious about as human beings. We want to know more. We want to expand. We want to grow. But if we want to actually apply that knowledge, apply what we learned, apply what we're observing and get some experience in it, we have to pick something. Does it matter what you pick? You know, there's so much discussion around this. I want to say yes, but I also want to say no. The thing is to pick something and get started applying it. You can always change your mind, but if you don't pick something and get started, you'll never do it. You'll never create anything. And that's part of why I do my one thing every day challenge, is to remind me that for the entire year, I'm going to focus on, at least for a few minutes a day, one area and aspect of my life that I want to improve. Does stretching my comfort zone, being happy, having fun, centering myself, does that apply to every area and aspect of my life? Each one of those? Yes. And that's why I intentionally picked those things, because I'm doing these challenges right along with the people that I share them with. I am doing them to make and create more of what I want in my life. Would I pick, I suppose I could do a success one, but success is one of those things that is so individual to each and every one of us. We get to define what success is to us. So that one is a little bit more of a challenge to do a challenge for. But guess what? I'm running out of these little books. This is a series of books. I can't remember what they're called. This one's a mindfulness journal, but I don't know that this is really bad to admit. And I thought about it yesterday, and I probably did read, super simple books, right? Just a little journal filled with a saying or an activity a day. And in the front is just 2 pages. This is the amount of content and text in that is created by the authors of this. And everything else is curated, right? So they find all these things and they put them together and they add some graphic design. But it's all one color print inside. So you know that that's an inexpensive way to do it as well. And they're just, but I'm thinking and reminding myself that I don't think I even read the do one thing every day that sends you 2 pages. So I'm going to go back and read that since we're 74 days into it, and see what I can glean from that. I probably did. I just don't remember it. So it couldn't have been earth-shattering. But that's all these little books are. They're just a little journal book. And I actually use this process for shorter versions of things in my life too now. But every year, to continually improve, I want to have something that I'm focusing on. And I want to make sure that the something I'm picking is something that will positively impact me. I'm not going to focus on anything that's going to negatively impact me. How to worry more, how to be more fearful. No, just the opposite. I'm going to create and focus for a year on the things that I want. And I'm going to make sure they're things that apply to many areas and aspects of my life. So that's it. That's what I'm working on. I'm going to hop into the coaching and training program that I signed up for. Of course, it's got a ton of materials that you do and learn and absorb before it gets to the life coaching aspect of it. But I'm super excited about it. I don't think that this particular coaching program has any type of an accountability or tracking thing. I'm gonna have to look some more. I haven't really looked at it that much. I only listened to one lesson in it, so I will pop into that and learn more and more about the framework. But if I can help you anyway, any questions, any thoughts, any feelings about the offline or the online world, and I know that's really a broad statement, but I'm not saying I know the answer, right? I probably don't, but I guarantee I can put you in touch with the person, the place, the thing, the resource to get you the next step toward what you need to do to get the answer to that, or to get the answer to that. A lot of times I've found that just asking the question or asking someone else a question, all of a sudden it frees up and lets me know where in my own brain that answer is lying, because it's almost always in there already. I'm just not letting myself see it for whatever reason. All right, have an absolutely awesome day. Happens to be Monday. Awesome Monday is one of my favorite days of the week. And I will be with you tomorrow. Take care.